Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here with the 12th episode of our first run through House of Light on YouTube, playing as the archaeologist. We are just about to cross over into autumn. I think the way that the season's transition has changed, it might be in the expansion, it might just be in a patch that they did in general, but I notice there's a little bit of a delay between the start of the day and the actual start of the season. So we have a couple of things that we're expecting to have happen. Number one, there should be another visitor that arrives on the affair of the Royal Endeavor. We will help them out. This is a great way for us to wind up with... Well, actually, sorry, I shouldn't say that for sure. It could also be that the event finishes and we just have a sort of a free consultation. Either way, we will be helping out the whatever visitor arrives. I do need to make some decisions in terms of how I'm going to be using my elements of the soul. I think one of the first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the core and we're going to make that stuffed marrow. Bake a golden stuffed marrow, a dish with heart, lantern, and nectar. So the reason I'm doing this is that it's sort of the same reason why I wanted to use the... bring up the vegetables sort of first thing in yesterday's broadcast, or not yesterday, Monday's broadcast. And basically the reason for that is if I remember properly, I can use the Isle water to restore the core, and then I should still have enough time to be able to draw more water up. So it's basically another free renewal. However, I don't need to pay the tuppence like I do at the Sweet Bones. Now, with that in mind, I'm actually going to start off by earning some money at the Sweet Bones. That's just because it's a nice little way. I can get 2 extra restorations as long as I do that early. I know I'm not going to bring anybody in to talk. Well, that's not entirely true. I may do that if I get a sufficiently interesting weather memory, but I can live without doing anything with the sun. So, with that in mind, we're going to take the last baronial period book from the Regensburg room, and we will catalog it. Now, if I get an opportunity, I will... Oh! It's Numa! We're at the threshold of Numa, the labyrinth season, the season that lasts only a single day. When Numa ends, all memories will vanish. Alright, well that actually changes things quite a bit. I should have checked that before. So we're down 2 elements of the soul for Numa. But I still have some opportunities to do some cool things. So, I think the first thing I'm going to do, and I know this isn't the most exciting of the options, but I'm going to see if I can take advantage of the Noombroom to learn a little bit more about the skills that I currently have. So I believe I have a Sacrament Asite. Well, the Glassfinger Toxin would be more sensible to put in. And then a Moth Orchid. Now there's some exciting stuff that you can do during Numa, which I'm definitely at this point I'm not going to take advantage of. So one thing I could do is sort of break up something like the Bells and Braziers and try and use it to level up some of the other skills here. Not really a viable option right now. I've already committed too much in terms of the elements of the soul. Now I could have sworn I had the Moth Orchid. But again, the two playthroughs are really starting to run together for me, so I could be remembering the wrong one. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's 13 on its own. That's actually a pretty good start for the Nox stuff. Is it really only Edict's Liminal? Okay. So I'm going to need to find a more powerful knock if I'm going to do that. I guess I'll add the Asite just in case, but I don't see how... Yeah. And then I imagine for the lockworks and clockworks, I'm probably going to need the Gervanite to make the fun stuff happen, so... And for that, I can actually add the... There we go. So if I want a Chronsicord, place the Gervanite at the heart of a knock device. So I'm wondering, because I've got the Gervanite here, if I add the glass finger toxin... There we go, Sacramentacite. Alright, that was fun. Also, because we're so early on, it's not as difficult to... Or it doesn't take as long to go through all of these. So let's do the equivalent with Moon. So we've got Rhyme and Remembrance, Noombroom, Tryst. I could add another Tryst. Well, it's not a whole lot else that's really going to improve this, so... And I can add another memory, or... Ooh, yeah. Not the most exciting set of options. Okay, it's good to know that I can make an ink out of that. I suppose in a pinch I can use the Noombroom to get me a... I can use that to get me a free Catwink, but that seems like a fairly low... low priority compared to some of the other stuff it can get me. But again, depending on what workstations I have open, that may be the best that I've got. Okay, so Rose and Winter. I have Winter here. I don't think I have Solemn... Oh, no, I do. Okay. I guess the blue crown would make sense, but I don't think... Oh, yeah. So I don't have a Whist to put in there, but I do have the Shapt. Okay. So we're not going to be able to find out whether or not we can make the Nillicant. They can get close. I think what I'll do is I'll do a second batch at the necropsy table with a remains just to... account for those as well. Alright, so the Essential Perios probably makes the most sense. That's worth a try. Okay, so... Don't really think I have much for Winter here. I might have been able to do something with... Well, as far as the 10 is concerned, that's really all that we need, so let's focus on that. So that's Solomon's Preparation, Essential Periost. And I don't think... Oh, yeah, okay, we've got the Solomon's Preparation. Now that's interesting, so... Oh, Crush a Flower. Okay, so I just missed that one. And kind of any of this will do, but there we go. All right, so for the rows, I would still, if I can, I'd still like to be able to try and learn a little bit out of it. So let's go to Nitan's desk. Again, any old element of the soul, because I don't have... Actually, this is one that's worth double checking to see that there isn't a rose. Let's see what we can do with that. Not... Oh, haha. All right, yeah. So I don't have the Faust or the or Fet to deliver that one. I thought I was onto something. Okay, well. Okay, apparently we're moving on from Nitan's desk to do I have a rose? Sorry, moving from Nitan's desk to the Vagabond desk. The papers aren't going to mean anything here, so yeah, okay, fair enough. Now the real question is, do I even have a rose scale? Yes, Pearl and Tide. Okay, so now we know how to make a salt sign, and that's it. So glad we spent the time on this. All right, well that's, that gives me some basics to work with. Nothing earth-shattering. I do want to make a decision in terms of exactly what I want to spend the Noom Broom on, and maybe I'm actually slightly tempted to make a glass finger toxin if I can get away with it. Just because that's a little harder to come by at this level, and it does help me make the Sacrament Asite. But I will... Actually, let me double check that now, because if I can make a spare Sacrament Asite this early... Well, if I make it this early, chances are what I'm going to do is be scared of using it until the point that I can actually just make it on my own. Alright, yeah, so I need to add more. So if I want to do that, I need to find another 2 knock. Which is not impossible. We just add the moth orchid, and then we would just add water. Which does slightly frustrate my plans for the core, if I'm completely honest. But I think I'll take it. Okay, so brew a bright and lethal knock toxin. So this Numa is not all that special. Oh, there was a... Okay. I did make a slight... I did a slight boo-boo, but... And here we have Julian Coseley. Julian Coseley, magus, winter-long, controversial philosopher. For an immortal exalted by an hour of silence, especially one who might be dead, he has a great deal to say for himself over the years. And here we have a matter of counterfeit memory. In Numa, visitors will be concerned with the tricks and stratagems that might be used in secret by the Hours. As long as this card remains, pneumatic visitors will have an interest in moon mysteries. Their needs will usually be more exacting than visitors who come during more traditional seasons. So there is a small temptation to take the Bronze Spintria and learn Ericapean with Julian Coseley, but I'm going to rely on the fact that I'm going to have another opportunity to learn this from an individual who I invite to the house. However, the chance to earn the Spintria that's a little more rare. So in this case, I think I'm going to satisfy his curiosity, assuming I have a 7 moon text, which I should. Might be a little overdone. Yeah, so it looks like Codex Acephalai might be the Or Queen's turn. I think these ones are too low. Nope, to a Pale Lady or Crossing to Noon work. Okay, good to know. A conversation with Julian Coseley. If Solomon is gone, if Solomon remains. The king, or the bell, or the city. Without history, none of them. What I read, but it will be significant that I have read it. If it were only written, then only the black flower. Ease, the exception, but no exception to eternity can last forever. That's rather the point. Only when I accepted that. So the start to my I have an idea. So my start to the autumn's going to be a bit weird. On imperfections, so rather appropriate for this one. Pomander, Lightsmith, and Lanternlong describes the process of transinhabitation, which he calls a manifestation of imperfection. Pour it out. So what we'll do here, we're going to... So I think I learned this last Numa. If I use the metal, I don't wind up sick. The only thing is it's going to take 6 minutes, so I'm going to be gone for a long time. As I used to say in my youth, the day is done and so am I, but I've earned my pay. I'm kind of curious, so... The door is open, the fire is cold, the shapes of the tables are hunched and quiet, dressed in furs and dark feathers. Mist presses against the walls and strokes the flagstones with its fingers. A drum taps in irregular rhythm somewhere beneath the inn. Numa. The refreshments of the labyrinth season. The inn is crowded with Numa's heralds and pilgrims. Their meat is unfamiliar, their drink is unknown. As I linger at the window, an electric bulb flares like a marshlight. A guest raises her glinting eyes and sees me. She beckons me in with a gloved hand. I mean, I'm tempted to experiment with this. I don't think anything good's going to happen, though. I've got a minute, so... But yeah, you know what? Let's try new things. And I've made a marrow, a Numa marrow. Stuffed golden marrow. This marrow was accounted a beauty among its kind. Now it's a dish for those who understand fidelity. So I'll save the cooking for another time. I have to pick what I want to do with my health, so I can try my luck with the beehive. I can try drawing up some mist-kissed water. I could harvest moly or Pyrus aracalcinus. Too many options. think I'm going to take the pear. Pyrus orichalcinus in Numa, it develops quickly. The boughs of the tree bend with the fruit. So the tryst this is the tricky part here. I need to find something to do with my tryst. I can go to Crowcross Sands. That may be the only real action I can take. I can't garden with it. I can't draw water with it. I can't cook with it. But I can open some packages, so let's do that. Something lost. Crack open the container. Delight in your discovery. We'll give the beach coming a try. Gather a Numa. The Numa fog is thick here. Alright, Silver Spintria is welcome. Time with the beastie. Offer this beast my company. Who knows? Perhaps it will offer something in return. With keeper level knock, glassfinger toxin is the precursor of the sacrament asite. And I think this basically means that as far as the old occult scrap and the old wounds are concerned, they're just lost. I don't really have any upgrades to do, so I'll just let them pass. I've eaten, I have drunk. A cloying taste lingers. My lips are stained with gray. A canvas. Your picture here. Yep, there we go. So good news, I got a horizon sight for it. On a clear autumn day, the story goes, you can see Ys from the Watchman's Tower. I don't know whether that's true, but on a clear day in Numa, you could see the city unbuilt. Dr. Brian Levinson. The doors of my soul have opened too wide. Every sound rings like a bell. Every word scratches at my eyes or skin. Acusis. The doors of my soul have opened too wide. Every sound rings like a bell. Every word scratches at my eyes or skin. Okay, so this is knock aspected. The one bit of good news on this is that I may be able to combine some things. So if I take these, alright, so that's not going to take Rose. So at that point, I'm stuck with Green's desk. Yeah, so I'm stuck with the salt sign here. But this is one of these cases where I can, because I've got a, because it, basically I can use this as many times as I want now. I can sort of crank out whatever I need. Actually, there is one slight bonus that I get. If I add the lunar globe, well, okay, so normally that would help, but that was literally the only rose. Oh no, that's not true. Sky Stories. Do I want a confounding parable? Does it help? Not really. Yeah. Normally this would be kind of cool that I was able to do this, but unless I can somehow translate this into... unless I can somehow get another 2 rows... pity. Alright, so let's think about the different knock things that I can do. So I have my occult scrap kicking around. If I combine that... Alright, well I'm going to have to give up something extra to do that. Can get my amethyst ampule, or what? Well, maybe that's just enough. Again, all the stuff's going away anyway, so I might as well make use of them. I deserved a little quiet time. Okay, so we're gonna basically we're gonna get some money for this, or Spintria specifically, but we are gonna lose half the day at the Sweet Bones. Which is not a major hardship, but I do need to be conscious of the fact that I'm going to be down an element of the soul, that is going to have some implications as far as the Salon's concerned. It's not that hard for me to get 5 winter, so keeping in mind that I'm going to want to... Pyrus or calcinus and Numa, it develops quickly. The boughs of the tree bend with the fruit. Can I get away with that here? No. Nope. Alright, I'll take it. But yeah, so Ragged Crossroads, Glass of Water gives me 4. And then that's really just a question of a memory. The catch is, I can't actually put the Ragged Crossroads in this bed. I'm actually going to have to move to Solomon's quarters. And now it suggests a meal would be welcome. So I don't believe I can talk with the chickens with the afflicted shaft. I can brew tea though. Hey! I always keep hatching this thing. A savage relic, a shrieking little bundle of primordial ill temper. I really like the living relic. Has its uses, but none of them are simple and few are safe. Okay, so the last thing that I can kind of do here is, if I want to make, like, I can just keep churning out bitter black salts at this point. The other option is, if I have anything that theoretically could produce... So again, the catch on this one is all my ink producing skills are pretty weak. Yeah, so this can't be afflicted. Okay. Just trying to think if there's a... Well, I guess I could try and open... Yeah, this'll work. something tricksy. Crack open the container, delight in your discovery. But yeah, so again, the easy option here is as soon as I have access to my health, we move from the lodge to the to Solomon. My other option would be, nope, the infirmary won't do, although the edge would let me use the ragged crossroads as well. And do we have any other beds? No. Yeah, a little bit of a funny Numa, but I think this turned out okay, given where I am in the playthrough. I probably would have played it differently if I had not used up so many of my elements of the soul before the season started. I think that's a pretty good lesson for me to stop doing that. And then I guess there's the other important point, which is I didn't know what happened when you tried to recover an element of the soul during Numa. For some reason, I think I'd always thought that it was just blocked, so that was an education. Do I have anything else I can do? I mean, if I want to try and toss the desiccated witchworms into something, I can make another amethyst ampule. How about making tea? Hall of Division fireplace. The firelight reflections in the mirrors are difficult to describe without risking a foray into pentameter. Okay, so yeah, we're pretty limited in terms of what we can do with our knock because our skills are so low. So tomorrow I think the answer is, out of the beds, I think I prefer Solomon's bed. Although, I actually believe I need Winter to be able to do that, so I don't have Whist. I do have Heart, though. So yeah, it looks like we will be going to the infirmary after all. So get ourselves set up, get ourselves cured. Or at least what passes for cured. Serve appropriately. Pour out. Poured out. I'm gonna double check that I can't keep and then of course once the season is done, then I will add Douglas to the Black Book. Obviously we didn't get Julian Coseley added to our address book writing case because you can't invite Numa visitors, sadly. As you can see, actually I was wrong to say 3 minutes, but yeah. That can't be right. Memories fade, assistance departs, but the soul is refreshed. Yeah, that's more like it. Current affairs. What's happening in the world beyond Brandkrug? What visitors will the season bring? Okay. Let's decamp. This house is a mansion of many rooms. I will move to a different one. Actually, for a winter, I really just need to throw something away. So I wonder if I have a... Every once in a while there's... Like this sand is a perfect example of this. Every once in a while I just wind up with a... an item I know I'm never going to wind up using, and I just hang on to it too long. It might be a little early in the playthrough for that, though. Yeah, I'm not quite sure I want to throw any of this away. I mean, I could be clever and throw away the Hush House key, but that just winds up being the same as me. In the long run, it's just the same as me chucking a book. Or not chucking, but reading a book. So, I think I could also drink the Blue Crown tea, but that feels like a somewhat extreme measure for something that should be quite straightforward. So we'll use the Tryst to read a wintry book. I would have liked to have done some cooking, but I may not have the opportunity. We'll see. Oh, I did say I was going to add Douglas for what you might call an occult correspondence. Gather my belongings, refresh the sheets for any guests I might have, ready to move on. Clean white sheets, and the unmistakable military ping of a steel bed frame. I'll make this my lodgings for the time being. Move your belongings into this room. You can then use this bed to rest soul cards and recover maladies. But will they come when you do call for them? Also, I got completely sidetracked on this. I'm setting up for the next day, and I should be setting up for the next episode rather than playing on. So I guess the cliffhanger is to see who the visitor is on this one. Sorry, as you can see, the Acusis is not just limited to my in-game character, but I think it's a fairly clear idea, and I think you all have a fairly clear idea in terms of how I'm going to take the next couple of episodes. So we will clear out. So the reason why I want to get rid of the curse so early, I know some people tend to like having cursed elements of the soul or an afflicted element of the soul. Given the way that I play, I tend not to like it. It has its uses, and if I had more rooms unlocked, I'd maybe take advantage of it. It would be a way potentially that I could get a bunch of inks made, for instance. But I don't know. Number one, it never quite feels like a role-playing thing to do. And then because the game did mention that I believe it is possible to transfer the affliction that you have to a book, the whole idea of using that to catalog a whole lot of books, etc., that it just really isn't worth it anymore, in my opinion. So also these don't use Nox, so there's no advantage to doing that here. So yeah, I'm at a point here where I do want to do the Salon when I can. So I'm going to want all the elements of the soul that I have available as soon as I, or like in time for that Salon, and I want to host the Salon as soon as I can. And there isn't a whole lot for me to do with the cursed element of the soul, or afflicted element of the soul. So it's one of these cases where there's a number of factors that suggest to me that I should be fixing this. Anyways, sorry, I'm rambling. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one tomorrow. Take care.